Today we are going to learn how to judge market swine. When judging swine, it's important to judge from the ground up. Feel free to pause the video at any time to concentrate on the material more. Here are some pictures of the ideal market hog. Let's focus on the profile view of the ideal market hog. Here are some descriptions and places where you would look for these things. For example, smooth, clean shoulders are a good thing to have. Good feet and leg placement so the pig can get up and move around. Clean underline, free from fat, and depth of body and long body. The rear view of a pig is also important because this is where most of you know the ham comes from. So the rear view, it's important that you have a good width from your left leg to the right leg and that you have a good width overall across the ham. It's also important to have large framed and be well balanced and to be really muscular. That way you have the most efficient set of meat. Now let's look at the rear view of a real pig and try to distinguish some characteristics. When looking at a real pig, it can be hard to distinguish characteristics at first, but here's a pig that you can tell has a good width across its ham. This is important because that means there's more pounds of meat to produce. This next pig is a pig that is too narrow across its ham. As you can tell, it's a little bit shorter than the one before. You can also look at the feet on this one and know that it is too narrow. Going back to the first pig, we can also look at the feet placement on this one. You can see that with the wild ham comes the wide set legs at the bottom. This is important because the two go hand in hand. Just like before, we can look at the leg placement on this one too. As you go down the body, you can see that the legs are too narrow, which yields to the too narrow of a ham as well. Now let's look at the profile view of the hog. Just by looking at this hog, anyone could tell that it is a lighter made hog. You can tell by the width of its body, how it goes in at its flank, and just how overall looking it looks. This hog is a heavier made hog. You can tell by the way there's not many creases in its skin and the way it bulges out. You can also tell by looking where the arrow is pointing at its flank, where you can see the fat rolls. This next pig is an example of how to measure length of body. That's looking from the front leg to the back leg and how long it is. You want this to be long because that's where all your ribs are going to be, your pork chops, and all those different cuts of meat. This pig is showing the depth of body. You would measure this from the top of the pig to the bottom of the pig, or bottom to the top, and that is just showing you how wide of a stomach it is and how much meat it's going to end up producing. Now let's watch this little video and see if you can figure out how to judge these pigs by yourself. Take notes for a quick assessment at the end. Feel free to pause the video to look at the pigs a little bit longer. The numbers on the back are what pigs to place in which order. If there's 3 marks, it's number 3. If there's 2 marks, it's number 2, etc. Now let's take a moment to answer some quick questions. Which of the pigs was the lightest made? How many belted pigs were there? And which pig had good width overall? Answer the following questions on a piece of paper and hand it to your teacher.